Hi, press play action here. It's Mitchell Lee, it's Brandon too, and Tommy Grant, who didn't even watch the damn movies this week. And we're still talking about Steven Spielberg because, well, we're done talking about horror movies. We're never talking about horror movies ever again.
Until next October.
Until we talk about horror movies ever again. But we are gonna do it's historical Spielberg. That's the guy we're getting now. We're getting Bridge of Spies, and we're getting The Post. We're getting those mid 2010s. I don't want to say Oscar bait Spielberg movies, but kinda. They have their tendencies, but both Tom Hanks guys. Let's start this off with Bridge of Spies, released October 16th. 2015. This had a budget of 40 million, made 165 million. So, very profitable movie. Starring Tom Hanks, Mark Rylance, who for some reason won an Oscar for this movie. I still don't understand that whatsoever. Sylvester Stallone was considered the favorite to win that year for Creed, but
interesting,
he didn't win. And Mark Rylance is maybe the biggest surprise of like the last 10, 15 years as far as an Oscar win goes. I don't really think anyone expected that win for him. So, yeah, Mark Rylance, an incredibly unexpected Oscar win. This was, again, the fall of 2015. So, Brandon and Tommy, I ask you, what was the biggest movie released in October of 2015?
October of 2015.
I'm trying to think of what fucking movies even came out in 2015.
Yeah, I know. Same.
I'll give you a hint. It was, like Bridge of Spies, nominated for Best Picture.
The Martian?
That is correct, Brandon.
Okay.
Good call. Yeah, The Martian with Matt Damon, directed by Ridley Scott.
Good call, because
yeah,
Google
good book series, by the way, or good book. I don't know if it's a series,
yeah. I've heard good things. Bridge of Spies was nominated for Best Picture. Rylance won for Supporting Actor. Was also nominated for Best Original Screenplay. Best Music by Thomas Newman, not John Williams, which fooled me. It sounded like a John Williams score.
John Williams now has like a type, like an S.
Did we finally come across a Steven Spielberg movie that did not have
We did. John Williams was nominated that year for Force Awakens, but not for this.
Do you think they were like, please try to be as close to John as possible?
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to have John just shadow you on this one.
Hey, Disney stole John Williams from us for this year, so we need you to stand in for him.
So this one, this was nominated for Best Sound Mixing and Best Production Design, but it lost both of those awards to Mad Max Fury Road, which was the big Oscar winner. Didn't win Best Picture, but it won 6 Oscars on that night. And this movie stars Tom Hanks. He is an insurance lawyer, and I'm pretty sure he's in New York. Could be wrong. Yeah, he's in New York City.
Yeah.
And he's an insurance lawyer, and he's asked to basically defend this guy played by Mark Rylance, who's arrested and charged with spying on behalf of the Soviet Union. And they basically just were like, look, we just want to give him his due process, but he's either going to be in prison for the rest of his life or he's gonna hang, basically. But we want to give him a fair trial. Can you just, be his lawyer? And he kind of gets to know this guy, and through a series of events, it ends up, and I forgot about this. I forgot just how much of the movie wasn't about him and Mark Rylance, but was about the exchange. because the Russians also they take an American prisoner, one of their the American
Multiple, but
pilots.
yes.
One of the American the Russians didn't take the other guy.
Oh,
That
true,
was
true.
that was the Germans.
Yeah.
The Russians shot down a pilot taking pictures, and basically this guy is now not just a lawyer for this Russian prisoner, but he's brokering an exchange of prisoners and also trying to get this other guy who was a American student studying in Berlin at the
Yeah, a Yale
time where the
student.
Berlin Wall was being constructed, and things were really rough between East and West Germany. And I thought that this is one of the really strong of the last 10, 15 years Tom Hanks performances.
Mm-hmm.
I think that after this, he does kind of fall off a little bit.
A little.
Like, I mean,
So-
you have stuff like Elvis, where he's not particularly good. And I think that Bridge of Spies really shows a lot of the charismatic and charming Tom Hanks that we got used to in the 90s and the 2000s. So much of this movie is really on his back. And
I think the movie's
I really like
carried
his
by
character.
him to be.
I agree.
And it kind of has to be. I did find it a little bit interesting. I just saw Nuremberg yesterday, so just like hearing Nuremberg like reference, because like technically he's the assistant to Chief Prosecutor Jackson during the Nuremberg trials. So that was like how he got like his big break in I guess like what you would call it being like a lawyer in practicing the law and stuff like that. So when that was referenced, I was like, oh, so basically what I am doing right now is I just watched Nuremberg. Now I'm going to go to the next basically point in this guy's career and follow this. And I thought, yeah, to your point, Mitchell, the movie is on his shoulders. I would say like 90% of it. Like, yes, there's other good performances in it, but without his performance as Donovan, I don't think it works. And I think he does a really great job, like you kind of said, like the understated I guess actions in the way he like goes about doing things, and then eventually like we get to the point where he's negotiating the release of this American student and this prisoner of war in Russia, and it's just really fascinating how he's like trying to play both sides, and then the East Germans are very upset, like how dare you try to like basically broker a deal between you're trying to rip us off while also pleasing the Russians, and you think because like you're getting both of us what you're giving both of us what we want, like that's gonna happen. And it was just fascinating to see like the negotiations play out. But it is a very much, I don't know if you agree with this, Mitchell, it's very much like a 3-part movie. There's like sections to it, and it feels very broken up, more than like a complete telling of like everything that happened between all of this proceedings and events and stuff like that. um yeah, I don't know, it just felt very I don't want to say choppy, that's not the right word, just very segmented in terms of like how the story was being told. And I don't think that's a bad thing, it's just very much like a 3-part type movie to me, in some aspects. And
I
there's almost
think
like subplots inside of it too, right? There's like subplots within like the actual plot itself that are
I think
fascinating.
what I struggled with as far as that goes, or at least what I just didn't really like as much,
Yeah,
was the beginning of the movie when it keeps cutting back and forth between the soldiers and Tom Hanks and Mark Rylance.
yeah,
I found the stuff with brokering the deal. Like I found the movie to be more interesting as it went along.
yeah. It's
Which,
definitely way
given
more
the fact,
interesting as it goes. Yeah,
given the fact that Mark Rylance won an Oscar for this movie, you would think that the stuff that focuses more on him would be the more interesting stuff. But I mean, he is good in this movie. I
I
don't
think he's
think
really,
I would
really
have.
good.
I don't think I would have given him an Oscar nomination, let alone an
Mhm.
Oscar win for this. I mean, my vote probably actually would have gone to Tom Hardy for The Revenant. That year.
That's interesting because didn't Leo win the Oscar for The Revenant? Am I?
Yeah, but I don't think Leo should have won for The Revenant. I actually think that Matt Damon in The Martian was better.
Yeah.
But Leo had to win at some point.
In some aspects, now that I'm thinking about like 2015, like Rylance is probably like a top 15 performance that year, but not top 10. If that kind of makes sense. I don't know if that. It was good.
Very
He was
surprising
good
when he won. Again,
Yeah,
most surprising acting win of
That's fair.
the last 10 years
Interesting.
for sure.
Because he was good. I just personally think Hanks like blew him out of the water when he was on the screen.
Yeah,
Like,
I would have nominated Tom Hanks over Eddie Redmayne. I might have nominated Tom Hanks over Bryan Cranston. I think DiCaprio, Damon, and Fassbender were the top 3 performances that year. Also, I did not expect this to be a Jesse Plemons double feature. I forgot that he was in either of these 2 movies.
Was he really?
Holy shit! He's in this movie.
Did
I
you
miss
not
that?
watch the movie?
No. He's definitely in the.
He
post.
plays a smaller role in Bridge of Spies than he does the Post, but yeah, he's one of the soldiers. He's the one that identifies.
Right. Oh my god!
Identifies powers and is kind of like training, doing the pilot stuff.
See, but this goes back to our ultimate point about Jesse Plemons. If Jesse Plemons is tied to the project, it is a good project.
Yeah, that
Jesse
makes me
Plemons
extremely
does not
excited.
miss.
That makes me extremely excited about the Hunger Games movie coming out next year.
Yeah, he doesn't miss when it comes to doing things. So I totally forgot he was one of the soldiers. That makes sense.
That was rough.
I saw this movie today, and I saw him in the Post. I remember seeing him as a soldier, but yeah, it's like a really brief like appearance in this movie. Yeah.
I really liked the again, Tom Hanks. I thought his charisma really carried this movie. I really liked seeing that kind of classic Tom Hanks performance where he just wants to do good, you know? He just wants to do right by the people that he's entrusted with. And I really liked the way that story was told. I thought that, for a 2-hour, 21-minute movie, I didn't think that it was...
Yeah, it didn't feel like 2 hours and 20 minutes.
No, I actually think that it had a decent enough pace to it, which was nice. A lot of these movies, especially more of the Spielberg historical movies, I mean, we've seen it. We all watched Amistad. It can be a slog sometimes. I still consider
Amistad, even with the performances in Amistad, I still consider Amistad like the most put this movie on in history class type movie. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
But no, I think of the Steven Spielberg historical movies, I mean, this isn't Saving Private Ryan or anything like that. It's not in that category, but it's in the category of enjoyable, good performances. Enjoyable. Personally, I would give this. Let me pull up my grade. I'm pretty sure
solid.
it's a high. It's a high B plus.
Okay.
It's a B plus. No, sorry, it is a minus 8.44. Yeah, no, okay. I'd recommend this.
I'm also in the same boat as you. I'm actually gonna start putting this on my letterbox, but it is an A minus 6.3 for me. So we are.
Oh wow! Okay, so
yeah,
we are very close.
I was interested as soon as you said like B plus high. I was like, oh, we're like really close.
But I think it does a good job of capturing a particular moment in time with the with the tension of the Cold War, and I think that you'd really like that about it, Tommy. I think it does a good job of capturing a moment in world history in the late 50s, early 60s, when the world wasn't at war, but things were just tense.
Well,
Yeah, this is like at the peak, almost like the peak years of the Cold
yeah,
War when it
Oh,
took.
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
it was based off of a true story that I read as well, so that was kind of cool to see. Um,
Yeah.
No,
I
and
mean,
I'll put it
this is
this
one of
way:
my favorite Cold War movies, and this is going to make me feel stupid saying this. Up there with X-Men First Class,
X-Men First Class is a great Cold War movie.
which is a
Oh, shut up.
great
That's a
Cold
great
War
Cold War movie.
movie.
yeah,
Um,
or
I will say one of the scenes that captures the Cold War the best, and I think Hanks does a really good job, is his son is like, we got to prepare for when they're gonna like drop the nukes. Like we got to practice duck and cover. We gotta get ready for all of this. And then his son's like, "You're not a communist. Why are you defending this man?" And he just flat out like lays it out for the kid. Like, I believe in the American justice system. I think he deserves to be given a shot, basically, like given a chance to defend himself. Like everyone says he's a spy. Like everyone assumes he is one. And I also find it very powerful and very funny when Rudolph is like, "You never asked me if I'm actually a spy or like if I did it," and in Tom Hanks, Donovan is like, I don't particularly care. like I don't really care if you did it or not. Like I guess it's better for my conscience if I don't know either way. But like my job is to defend you the best of my ability, not like question whether you actually did something immoral by being a spy for the Soviets, which I always thought was a very fascinating like look into the moral compass of being like a defense lawyer.
He gives a great speech about like what makes us American is following the rule book, basically.
Yeah,
And I really liked that aspect of it.
and Mitchell, I don't know if you've seen Nuremberg. I will say
No.
there's a sequence in Nuremberg that's very close to that, where it almost is like, what's the difference between us and the Nazis? There isn't much of a difference between us besides what we
Well,
believe in as Americans.
okay.
Yeah. So, which
I was
again,
very concerned
watching.
for that
I was like,
conversation.
No,
I'm not sure I can endorse this.
no, I'm just
In
saying.
fact, I'm pretty sure I can't.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I can't endorse that either. I'm getting to like the standpoint where like seeing both of those movies back to back now, I'm like, okay, this is very fascinating because it's basically two huge moments in political history and in history in general. And it's about law and like the biggest trials basically of these certain things. And I think they do like again a good job of capturing the Cold War aspect of it. Like I do think that is very well captured. There's a moment in this movie where I was like, is he about to die? I mean, I knew the story anyway, but I was like, are the East Germans about to kill him? I was like, this
See,
is getting a little dicey.
I didn't know the true story about it. I didn't
Oh,
know how
okay.
it turned out.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you are on the edge of your seat a little bit when he gets to Germany. You're like, I don't think they like him.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah,
like,
no.
yeah.
You definitely feel the tension when he's walking around. They do a good job of making you feel like a foreigner in a country that you do not
Want to be in?
know much about. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Let's
And
talk about the post now.
Well,
Oh, Tommy, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
I had one quick fun fact that I did
movie
read
about political history.
the movie. Because we're talking about history of it. This movie actually almost was made in 1965. Steven Spielberg didn't realize it until he was already basically writing the story for this movie.
Yeah.
He was doing research, and he found out that they attempted to make it in 1965. Gregory Peck, who was in To Kill a Mockingbird, came up with the idea to make the movie. He got Alec Guinness to sign on to play Abel,
Okay.
and MGM was basically in the process of making the movie, but Bay of Pigs had just happened, and
Oh,
they're like, the political environment is too intense to put out a movie like this. So they,
about
so they
Donovan.
yeah, so they basically
Yeah.
scrapped it, and it just kind of became lost to existence. And then when Spielberg obviously was making this movie, he came across it. It was like, holy shit, like the material's already here for me to write.
Which I'll point this out. I wouldn't mind like a follow up slash sequel where Donovan goes to Cuba and negotiates with Fidel Castro. I don't know if that movie exists. I didn't look into it too much, but if that movie is like a thing, I think that movie could do very well. And I think it could be done well. Just get Tom Hanks to play Donovan again. I think it could work. But yeah, it says it at the end of the movie. By the way, I don't know if you knew that, but it says at the end of the movie like what Donovan ended up doing with his career, and one
Gotcha.
of them was like the Bay of Pigs. He was involved in the Bay of Pigs. Yeah,
That makes sense. I was
yeah.
like,
So it makes complete sense why they didn't write the movie because the main star of the movie would have been involved in this highly political
yeah.
climate as well.
So that was my only fun fact I could find. There weren't many fun facts about this movie.
Yeah, I feel like there probably shouldn't be. Like, I feel like, again, when you write something like this, and I think we saw it with a couple of other Spielberg movies that have been written, you can't like get all the facts. You just can't like giving. And I guess we'll get into that with the post, right? How much American secrets can be given away inside of a debriefing and whatnot. So anyway, transitioning to the post, Mitchell.
Let's
talk about another
post.
highly political American movie.
Yeah. So this one, once again, Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep. So it is not just a Tom Hanks show. In fact, Meryl Streep is probably the lead of this movie.
Yeah.
Meryl Streep, Tom Hanks, Bob Odenkirk's in this one. You got Bradley Whitford, Sarah Paulson, Tracy Letts,
Jesse Plemons,
Bruce Greenwood, Jesse Plemons, Carrie Coon, Allison Brie, Michael Stuhlbarg. Just a lot of random people kind of pop in for this one. This was released December 22nd, 2017, with a budget of $50 million, made $179 million, so it was successful. This movie, it was released wide on January 12th, 2018, so it had its wide release after a few weeks of limited release, and it was, let's see, come on, let me get back here. It was the 39th highest grossing movie of 2017. Can you name movies 1 through 38? No, I won't do that to you. Okay, but what I will ask is, what is the highest grossing historical, like based on a true story type movie of that
Darkest
year?
Hour.
Yeah, Darkest Hour by far.
Oh no, that or
Dunkirk. Yeah, Dunkirk.
It was,
if it was Chappaquiddick, I'm out.
Well, no, Chappaquiddick came out in 2018, and no, it was actually, in fact, Wonder Woman. No, I'm just kidding. Although that
Dunkirk.
did have a little bit of it was Dunkirk. I'm looking like, was Spider-Man Homecoming?
2017 is so funny because we get Darkest Hour. Movies. We get Darkest Hour, which is like the negotiation, strategic planning side of Dunkirk, and then we get Dunkirk, which is like the actual movement of the plan, to save and rescue all these soldiers and stuff like that. And I always found it hilarious that we got two movies in the same year that basically captured the same event but in different ways, and then we add like a movie like The Post on top of it that kind of captures like some stuff as well. And then I guess you're right that Chappaquiddick came out in 2018. That movie also
and made like no money. So.
Yeah, that movie also has overlap to this movie with some characters involved. So I do find it funny.
This movie was nominated for Best Picture. Shape of Water won that year, which I'm not the biggest fan of that one.
I still don't agree with that.
Meryl Streep was nominated for Best Actress. However, I think she was a distant fifth that year, as Frances McDormand won for 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
The correct
There was
decision.
also... I could have gone with Margot Robbie for I, Tonya. I thought she was really good. Saoirse Ronan in Lady Bird was also really good. And as much as I'm not a crazy fan of The Shape of Water. Sally Hawkins in The Shape of Water was excellent. Other things that The Post was nominated for, it did not win any Oscars, as far as I can tell. And actually looking, it was not nominated for anything else. It just
Yikes.
got picture and it just got actress. So I think this was a movie a lot of people were expecting to be a big time Oscar player because of the fact that it was Steven Spielberg, Meryl Streep, Tom Hanks, and you also have to keep in mind when this movie came out. It came out in December of 2017, and it was a very pointed point in time with Trump's first term, and kind of attacks on the media were being seen in a way that we hadn't seen.
Yeah, I was
Before.
surprised this movie was made, to be honest with you. But
I think it was kind of fast tracked to meet the moment, I guess.
oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
they started filming this movie in May of 2017.
Damn.
Yeah, and then it came out in December. Most of the time, if a movie is filmed in May, it comes out the following May.
Yeah.
I think they
really
knew they wanted this out in December, which makes sense.
I think they thought that they were going to get some Oscar play out of this, and I guess they did with the two. They got a Best Picture. I mean,
they still got Best Picture nomination, which is the holy grail of Oscar nominations if you are going to get it. But
I guess, but I mean, it's the one that gets the most nominations. You get 10 movies.
A fun fact on that aspect, actually, Steven Spielberg wanted to have this film released as quickly as possible, given the parallels between its theme and the political fake news climate in the U.S. at the time, because that was kind of the spark of the whole fake news movement. So I can see
that makes sense.
Why he wanted to push that out so quickly.
Yeah, and I think this movie does a good job of capturing that type of aspect a little bit.
I think it tries a little too hard in that regard.
Yeah, almost too hard. Yeah.
Like at the end of the movie, they make a lot of reference to like, well, I certainly wouldn't want this to happen again, and it's like, okay.
Well, what I find fascinating, and I just saw this movie for the first time, Mitchell. Shout out Robert Redford. All the President's Men. If you watch this movie and then watch All the President's Men right after, I think that would actually be a really great double feature, personally.
As someone who went to college originally to study journalism, I always have a soft spot in my heart for these journalism movies, and I also rewatched Spotlight recently.
Oh, that's another great journalism movie.
I think Spotlight is remarkably underrated and might be like the king of those type of movies.
I think those two are the only ones.
In a world of Spotlight and All the President's Men, The Post does kind of sit at the kids' table compared to those. I still did like this. However, this one, it's crazy because this one is an hour and 56 minutes. But if you told me this was the 2 hour, 25-minute one, I would have believed you.
Like, yeah.
Because the first half an hour of this movie,
I would say 45 minutes or like,
yeah, 30, 40 minutes of this movie, it kind of crawls along. It really struggles.
And I get what they're doing because they're trying to set up the president doesn't want us in the White House. We're a small family paper. We're the Washington Post. Like, no one really knows about us. How do we get inside of the White House? With the president like actively hating the person that like runs our newspaper. But I feel like those moments, they could have taken out 15 minutes, Mitchell. I think they really could have taken out 15 minutes. Probably added 15 minutes onto the back end of the movie with some of that material, and it would have just felt like a way different movie than it is. And I don't know if you agree with that, but it's a really slow burn at the first like 30, 40 minutes of this movie. It's just a really slow burn.
What I struggled with in this movie was, again, once they get the
paper, once they get the report, the study, is at its best.
Once the New York Times publishes,
and
they have to decide what they're doing next, and hey, we can get these two, and it's Bob Odenkirk trying to hunt this guy down. the movie really picks up after that until basically the conclusion of the movie. I did like more of this movie than I didn't. I really liked Bob Odenkirk here. I mean, I really liked his character. Meryl
I think
Streep
he's
is
phenomenal. Personally,
yeah.
do you think he's the best part of the movie? Because he might be.
I honestly liked him the most.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I think Tom Hanks is good here too. I really liked the. I mean, the whole point of this movie is, look, we are the press is under attack, and the Nixon is looking to punish people for releasing classified documents. Basically,
it's political retribution.
Well, yes,
And especially to journalists for releasing certain things.
Yes, and they have to try to figure out, how do we want to release this? Can we release it in time? Because it's also a race against the clock, and I wish that the movie kind of leaned into that a little bit more. They kind of do at points.
Yeah, they said it a little bit. Actually,
because most of this movie takes place over the course of one night. Like,
honestly, the best moment of the movie might be when Zach Woods and Jesse Plemons' characters come in as the lawyers, and they're like, "Look, the New York Times had this for 3 months. You have 8 hours. Are you positive you're not going to release like any U.S. like secrets?" And then Tom Hanks is like, "Yeah," and then he's like, "How can you promise that?" And he's like, "I can't. That's why I brought you guys in." Like,
yeah,
this is too good.
This was a strong Tom Hanks performance.
Yeah.
I don't think that it stood a chance to get nominated in 2017, although there were some pretty weak
it's 5,
Denzel,
right? It's 5 nominations.
It's 5.
Yeah,
and look, I know I've got to rewatch Phantom Thread at some point, so I'm gonna withhold judgment on that.
Maybe we just weren't in the right mindset when we saw
maybe
Phantom
I don't
Thread.
know. But I also know that Denzel did not deserve a nomination for Roman J. Israel. That was not that should not have been a thing. That was just he's Denzel Washington. Let's give him an Oscar nomination. Tom Hanks would have been solid here, but I also thought that like Jeremy Renner in Wind River or Robert Pattinson in Good Time would have been good ones too. Yeah, Bob Odenkirk, I would have loved to have seen more of him, but I also just don't really think it's his movie at all. You know, it's not his story.
But I think he does a really
Bob
good
Odenkirk.
job. Yeah, I think he does a really good job with the material he has, and that's why I asked you, do you think he might be the best performance? Because even though it's like not his movie and like it's clearly Meryl Streep's movie and Tom Hanks, he kind of like, he's just very, very good. Like, I think Odenkirk's good in anything, but he is very good in this movie. Even Bradley Whitford's character is like a little bit brash in Meryl Streep's face, basically talking behind her back in front of her, which I thought was like the funniest thing possible. That scene in the movie where he's talking like in the other room, and then Meryl Streep walks in and she just like stares at him, and he's like, "Look, I gotta be honest. I'm not sure if this is the direction the paper should go," or something like that. And Meryl Streep, Kay Graham just looks at him and goes, "Thank you for your frankness," and then walks away. And I was like, she basically told him, "Fuck off."
I really liked Meryl Streep's demeanor in this.
Yeah, a power move. Yeah, fuck off, but with a power move, basically.
Well, they didn't just. It would have been so easy for a movie at this time to fall into the cliche that a lot of movies made in Trump's first term did, where they have these woman characters and they have no flaws whatsoever. Yeah. They're completely fearless at all times. She is incredibly strong, but
she's also flawed.
She is also incredibly unsure of herself, and she shows fear and uncertainty. But at the end of the day, she sticks to her guns and makes a decision. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was, wow, you didn't try to make this, you made this a real person. And I appreciated that. Everyone in this movie seemed like a real person. The dilemmas felt real. It never felt like there was a cartoon villain. I know you have members of the board and such, but they were also saying things and presenting points that people in that situation absolutely would. So I understood that. I didn't find them particularly interesting, but I understood where they came from. But the main people that we follow, I really liked their dynamic. I thought that Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks played off of each other very well in this movie, and I thought that for the most part it was well written. Now, I am going to, I don't want to say spoil this movie because it's historical events, you know? But the end
Like
of this movie, the end of this movie is like, it's like a Marvel stinger.
But
It's
that's
like,
why I'm saying if you watch All the President's Men right after, it would actually be kind of like a goat double feature.
maybe I'll have to do this because at the end of this movie, it's Watergate at the end of the movie,
Yeah,
and they end with
it's
someone
amazing.
calling
There's
the
someone
police.
in the building in Watergate.
Yeah,
And then what I'm
there's-
telling you, Mitchell, is All the President's Men picks up with the person in the building they're committing the
So
scandal
what
of
you're saying
Watergate.
is
Right?
this is a prequel to
Yeah,
All
this
the
is a
President's
prequel
Men.
to All the President's Men. Is what
And the
this is.
JCU, the Journalism Cinematic Universe,
Yeah.
The Post is the movie that starts things off.
The
All right, I
prequel-
can get down with that.
To All the President's Men. I don't want to compare the two movies, but I'm with you, Mitchell. I think Spotlight and All the President's Men are like the GOAT journalism movies. I would say All the President's Men is a little bit ahead of Spotlight personally, and I'll tell you why. I think what the Post fails to capture, what All the President's Men does a great job of capturing, and that's like the newsroom. The like actual like newspaper being inside the newsroom like aspect of it. Like we're all sitting around a typewriter smoking like cigarettes, chain smoking, trying to get this story done, following leads, chasing down stuff. The stuff that Bob Odenkirk's character was doing, I feel like All the President's Men does like an incredible job with that. Basically tracking down like the sources, trying to find leaks in sources and stuff like that. All the shady journalism stuff they do. There's shady stuff in this one too, where it's like, is that legal? Is it not? Like they're towing the line. I think they push the boundaries in the Post. I don't think they quite get there the way that All the President's Men does. And I don't know if you feel the same way about Spotlight, because Spotlight kind of does similar things too, where it's like, is this legal? Should we be doing this? Like, how we get our sources? Like, it's all like a gray area, but as long as if you do your job correctly, like this is what journalism is. So yeah, I think this movie's really really good. I just don't think it stacks up to like those two movies in particular, and I guess it's hard not to compare them, just because of like the nature of what they're doing. But yeah, I'm with you, Mitchell. It's a good movie. It's also a prequel to All the President's Men. I really think we should do a double feature now. I think we should just do All the President's Men next.
It essentially is a prequel because this whole film, the concept of it is pretty much dramatizing the Washington Post's kind of fight against the freedom of press, against government pressure. And obviously, you know, the Washington Post was the main source involved with the Watergate scandal, which is why they have that scene at the end basically setting it up. Because from my recollection,
the call where it's like there's someone in the building, it's like, oh no, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, and it ends almost like tune in for season 2 of
yeah,
the Post.
tune in for All the President's Men next week.
The whole scandal was exposed by, I think it was two journalists that were basically using a FBI associate director to basically give them information. That's what exposed the whole thing. So the Washington Post was involved in both events.
To be fair, Tommy, that's what All the President's Men does exceptionally well. Like the difference with like Redford's character and other characters involved in the movie, when they're talking to the source, the FBI agent, and like all the stuff that goes down with that is just like phenomenal. And I don't think the Post again quite gets there.
Yeah.
With that type of stuff. Like, to be fair, if this movie had 15 more minutes of Odenkirk and his storyline, I wouldn't even care. I'd be like, yeah, let's see like what he does to go get this. I also think it's hilarious when he told the flight attendant, "Oh, these are just American U.S. secrets," and she like laughs at him and then says, "Okay, buckle your seatbelt." And I was like, she doesn't know that he's literally about to. Yeah, I just think it's so funny. Oh my god, that is a good line, by the way. Yeah, but anyway, sorry.
All right, what do you give it?
Funny. I think it reaches the A- threshold for me, but barely. I'm gonna go A minus 1.3.
Okay, I'm a little lower than you. I went
Fair
B
enough.
plus 27.97.
Yeah, I can see that.
It just it took
Where
a
would
little
you
too
have all the
long to get
President's
going.
Men in Spotlight?
I haven't seen All the President's Men in a long time, and I haven't seen it since I started my new grading system, so I can't say. But I gave Spotlight an A plus 52.47.
Yeah, Spotlight
I mean,
is awesome.
I loved Spotlight. There's a good chance that once I get to 2015, that's my number one movie of the year.
Yeah.
I put that movie on a little bit of a pedestal. Especially since I am now, let me get to the correct number. Now that I am 52.2% done with 2011, and that I will say that they say this without question, that dog shit ass year. I'm 52.2. We don't have an A plus yet.
That's
we might
crazy.
not have one for all of 2011.
That's
it's
crazy.
possible. Yeah,
and you say I give out
Spotlight's a
A+,
damn good one.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd ever give it.
I'm telling you, man, it's bleak out here in them streets. The movie watching streets. I just watched Sucker Punch. Okay, I've been punched in the face. Let me tell you that right now. But we are one podcast away from never needing to talk about Steven Spielberg again,
unless we do the All the President's Men sequel. Oh, no.
But Steven Spielberg.
I know he didn't do Spielberg. I know.
However, Spielberg is coming out with another movie in a year or so for now. So
is it about journalism?
True.
No,
I have no idea.
I think it's about aliens.
Oh, good for him.
Well, the concept of good journalism is alien to a lot of people today.
E.T. returns.
The
sequel we've all wanted.
E.T. returns to run a newspaper.
The sequel we all wanted. Close Encounters with E.T.
Yeah. E.T. learns how to play that xylophone or whatever it was. So, last up, West Side Story and The Fabelmans as we get the two 2020s.
I've never seen The Fabelmans.
From Steven Spielberg. I'm very interested to rewatch these, but from what I remember, I loved West Side Story. Like, our grade could get pretty damn high for that one. And I'm very indifferent to the existence of The Fabelmans. So we will just have to see how that one goes. And then you'll just have to see what comes next, because we've decided to switch things up on your ass. So we'll talk to you then. Bye.